Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cheap Heat Live, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, SiriusXM channel 156. Welcome aboard. I'm your forever 24/7 champion, Worldwide P, a.k.a. Crocodile Dun P, coming to you live from down under in Perth, Australia, where Crown Jewel will go down tomorrow night, or for you guys in the States, tomorrow morning. We'll get into that and talk about the logistics of the show in a minute. But first, let me bring in from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the physically large stat guy, Greg. SGG, how you doing?
I'm doing great. P, what's the food like in Perth? Have you had like kangaroo and Vegemite sandwiches? Do I sound just completely ignorant? Like, what's the
I
situation
don't
there?
know. I don't know if people are eating kangaroos like that. I know they have in our hotel. We have like a catering area, and there's definitely Vegemite spread. I don't like the sound of Vegemite. It sounds like termite. I don't like ites. I don't want ites. I don't like
Yeah,
anti-Semites. I don't like termites. I don't like any of the ites. So it's not ending up on my bread. Um, but I will say the coffee and baked goods here in Perth are tremendous. I'm enjoying some lovely croissants. Um,
really.
got myself a nice cup of Joe right now as we're doing the show because I got to stay up because of course it's 12 hours later here. So if you're listening to this on Friday, it's noon on the East Coast. It's midnight Saturday in Perth. But yeah, so far the food has been pretty good, but I still have some more I need to do. And also joining us for the first time in the Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 era, it's producer Emilio Sparks. Emilio, how are you?
How are you, Peter? I just had to Google what Vegemite is, and apparently it's a dark yeast extract spread. Doesn't sound appealing.
Yeah, no, it's like a salty. I heard it's like a salty-ish kind of spread. You put a little bit on bread, and it sounds
I've
kind
tried
of.
it. It's not good.
It doesn't sound good. I just.
It's fortified with a lot of vitamins such as riboflavin. So,
Well, we're Americans,
yeah.
so we don't want that. We want the sweet stuff. We want your high fructose corn syrup. We want your
Yes.
real cane sugar. If we're trying to keep it healthy, we want that. We don't want the fortified iron riboflavin salty vegetable spread. We don't want
Yeah,
that.
no, we're good on that, fams.
We don't want that.
But yeah, for breakfast today, I just had some eggs. I had some bacon. Had a lovely little pastry. Took some bread, some peanut butter and jam on it. Some coffee, and then I did something I've never done. I sat and had a long one-on-one conversation with Eric Rowan.
Oh,
So that's my guy. That's my guy. You should
I
tell him we're
I
we're
figured.
buddies.
I figured he was your guy. He
do you
gave
call him Eric
Emilio's
Rowan?
guy vibes.
No, I call him Big Red.
Big Red.
Okay.
There you go. Because Emilio refuses to call a worker by their work name. You know that, SGG. He's got to have a
That's why
nickname, a
so I tried to figure
government
out what the
name.
Emilio name was.
Yeah. His name is like Todd or something. Something
Yeah,
none of us
you know,
know.
Emilio got all the secret passwords, so I tried to figure out what Eric Rowan's secret password was.
No, I will tell you though, he's a GG. We had a good talk. I asked him if he had been to check out the Wyatt Six Horror Nights spectacular that they have in Orlando. He said he had and thought it was pretty dope. I want to try to check that out when I head down to Orlando for Evolve tapings next week. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to. And then we talked about travel and how different our experience is, because for me, guys, the flight for me, we said, of course, we were going to talk about the travel to Australia.
Yeah.
We had to. All right. So leg one, really leg one and leg two are complete. So let me just say, to the point with Eric Rowan, I was just talking about how different our experience is because he's a full foot taller than me and like 100 pounds heavier. So like he was just saying there's really no seat that's comfortable, no matter how good the first class, like at 6'8", 3, whatever he is, it's just not really happening. But I will tell you guys, the charter flight from Dallas to Sydney was 17 hours. Not a lick of internet. When I say not a lick of internet, I mean, not a little, nothing.
You're
And
Well,
bold.
how is
too.
that possible though? But how is that possible? You're on this like bougie flight and they can't give you internet?
it's so apparently Qantas Airlines, which is like the big Australian airline, great plane, great seat, great service, great food. They just do not have Wi-Fi on their planes yet. It's very odd. I don't have an explanation. But I will tell you, once I talked to Natalie and like let her know, like I'm gonna be MIA, like it made me a little nervous to be out of contact for that long with the baby. Like I just haven't experienced that yet. So being out of pocket for 17 hours definitely made me antsy. But once I accepted it, yo, guys, when was the last time you were fully out of pocket on the internet for 17 hours? For me, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I
Same.
like even when you fly somewhere, it's 8 hours, 6 hours. You have internet on the plane, or you get it the second you land. So to have almost a full day of there's no reason to open up social media, I got to tell you, it was kind of satisfying. And I realized that and this is where Dip, I just don't relate to Dip and his not caring about first class. When you have a nice big lie flat seat with like all the first class amenities in it, guys, 17 hours really wasn't a big deal to me. Like
No.
not at my
Because it's like a bed. You can just veg out. You can flick on the TV. You can watch
make it
some
so comfortable.
videos. It's so comfortable. Like, and the drink cart comes around quite frequently on those trips.
The drink cart,
they-
the snack cart. They bring around the snacks every once in a while. You can just get
they
up
got
and get more
snacks, they got
snacks.
drinks. You go up and ask them for it. It was light.
How many snackadoos were you eating?
Well, I had the meal when we got on the plane. We were a little delayed getting on the plane, so we didn't get on the plane until like 1:30 in the morning or something like that. And I decided early on I'm going to stay up for a few hours and then try to sleep. And so that's what I did. So I had the meal. The meal was all right. I fell asleep after that for like 5 hours. When I came out of my like 5-hour slumber, they were walking around offering up steak sandwiches.
What?
And I was
Now,
like,
let me ask
oh,
you this.
I said, I'll take a steak sandwich. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Greg is like, I want to go so
Yeah.
bad to this.
Yeah,
charter
SGG's ready to go to Australia right now.
No, but what I was going to ask you though, when you woke up, did you have all your belongings? Because I saw you were sitting a little close for my comfort to the tribal thief. So did you wake up with all your belongings? Have you even checked? Did you even think to check?
It's a great point. I believe. Well, listen, all I had, my Jordans were on my feet. And then the only other shoes I had in my bag were some loafers and one of those like dad vibe workout shoes that I was gifted.
Do you have the loafers and the dad vibe workout shoes?
Yes, they're all here. So I was not robbed. Everything was smooth. I got to tell you guys, I did not mind. I watched the show Black Rabbit. I watched the entire season.
Oh, that's the Jason Bateman Netflix joint?
Yeah, yo, if you like Ozark, it is the definition of Ozark adjacent.
I was gonna say Ozark Plus. I don't know if Ozark.
By the way,
tells it.
It might be plus. It might be plus. But well, you have to remember, there's different Ozarks, right? Because Ozark season 1 to me was incredibly high level, and then like by the time you got to the final season of Ozark, they had just done every gimmick there was so many times that it's hard to grade it in the same way. But it was very intense Jason Bateman in trouble show. If you like that vibe from Ozark.
Okay. Cuz I was going to say I don't want I know we shortened the words here. I don't want to get it too wordy. Is it Ozark season 1 plus? Ozark season 1 adjacent? Ozark season 5 plus?
I'd really have to go back in and look. Now how much do you like Ozark is the question.
I've never seen it, but I'm trying to help you.
You've never seen Ozark?
Never seen Ozark. Not a single frame.
Emilio, what about you? I know you haven't seen it either, have you?
No, zero desire to watch it. Don't really care. I'm good.
Why are you getting anti Ozark? I don't understand. It's
I think maybe I'm just not a Bateman guy. If I could be completely transparent,
No,
I just don't dig the Bateman.
That's a
not
problem.
Bateman guy.
I gotta tell you,
steal
that's a
share
problem.
the Bateman.
No, that's a
I
problem.
You know
just
what it
hadn't
is?
gotten around to
I think I was sour to Bateman because of the role he had in Juno. I just didn't like the character that he played. He's a great actor, but I think I was just sour after that. I was just like, I'm good on this guy. I'm all right.
I think that's
No,
fair.
it's not. It's not, because here's why it's not fun. It's like saying SUG. It's like being like, nah, like I don't like Gandolfini, but I never watched Sopranos though. Should I watch that? Is that good? Because Jason Bateman, I really think Ozark kind of became the definitive moment of his career. Like 5 seasons, his show, he's the star, and he's unquestionably been rejuvenated as an actor since that show. He's a different
Wait,
level
so
now.
Arrested Development didn't rejuve his career to get to Ozark?
Arrested Development is part 1, and then this is
Okay.
part 2. But you
Okay.
didn't like Arrested Development either?
No. I watched it from beginning to end. Just not for me.
I never tapped into
hold
Jason
on.
Bateman TV. I tapped into his movies, but TV, you don't know, you know.
Hold on, but actually, this is a crazy thing Emilio said. He just said he watched the entire run of Arrested Development and didn't like it.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say that.
Why would you watch the entire run of a show and not like it?
Because eventually I thought I would come around to it. You feel me?
I
Like,
think-
okay, maybe the pilot's not good, or maybe they really find their like vigor season 2 and they really get into the swing of things. But no, it just didn't fire on all cylinders for me. And again, I know, gonna be in the minority here, just wasn't for me.
Did you
Just
watch
wasn't for
it
me.
like week to week, or did you watch it like binge it?
I binged. I was a binger, and it just didn't hit the vein the way a Sopranos would hit the vein for me. It was all in. Great.
It's not the
It was
same.
like The
I mean,
Wire. Boom.
Yeah, no, but Arrested Development's a different thing altogether. It's an offbeat
Community.
form of comedy.
Community. I hit the Community crack pipe. Boom. I was hooked automatic right off rip.
Not into Community. It's funny that never got
I
me.
didn't like it. I gave it a
no.
chance.
Community did
Community's
not get me.
brilliant.
It did not get me vibe wise. I'm not saying it wasn't like funny and didn't have like brilliance to it, but so much of show is feel, and like I don't know. Community is. Maybe I got to revisit it. But anyways, SGG. I can't speak to Emilio, who has a personal issue with Jason Bateman, who I believe from a Q score standpoint would probably be as like on the low. I think Jason Bateman's probably as well liked a celebrity as there is. He really like. I think people just generally like Jason Bateman. And if you've never seen it and you're looking for like a fun binge with the wife, I think Ozark is a full go. Now, some people I think it's stupid. I think it's awesome. Like, it's just super intense and fun. But anyways, Black Rabbit's great as well. So I made it to Australia. It was 17 hours to Sydney, 5 more hours to Perth. The first night I slept pretty well. Last night I fell asleep at 10, woke up at 2, and could not get myself back together. No, I did eventually. I fought, SGG. I fought. I eventually fell back asleep at like 4:15 and got like another 2 hours. Because I knew all I needed to make it and be okay was to grab a couple more hours. I just couldn't live off the 10 to 2. That's not enough.
Did you have a call time for anything like that, or was there any rehearsals?
No, I had no stress. I had no stress.
Thank God, because that would be the worst.
That
so
part,
go down at 4 and have a call time,
bro. But the craziest thing about this time difference is when my alarm, not when my alarm clock, when I woke up, when I popped up. So I fell asleep at like 10. The first time I popped up, it was only midnight. I was like, and I felt awake because midnight is noon at home.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? It's only midnight. So I pushed myself to get through it. I wake up again at like 2:30, and I felt so rested. Like when I got up at 2:30, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, and I just slept for like an entire day, and I don't know it. What is going on? Nope, it had only been another 2 hours. And so anyways, I'm fighting through it. I hope that tonight when I sleep, I hope I just sleep through the night.
Well, you're taking naps. That's what you're doing. You're not doing anything else. You're taking naps.
I guess you're right. You're taking naps, but you're aiming it in the time slot where you should be sleeping here. But for your body, it's not what the time is. And by the way, if I talk to anyone about sleep and that person turns out to be Emilio Sparks, I'm in trouble. Just know things didn't go right.
Yeah, it's bad.
This is Emilio lives on Perth time all the time. Okay, every day of his life.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've now settled in. I do want to tell everyone, if you want to get one of the most random Patreon episodes of all time, go to Cheap Heat Live on Patreon. Myself and Rachel and Raquel Rodriguez wandering in Australia looking for quokkas for an hour. If that is what you're looking for your sorts of wrestling content,
what's a quokka?
SUG, you know what about the quokkas?
No.
I'm gonna send you I'll send something to the chat right now. But quokkas are, or quokka, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but they're like they're like marsupials or rodents or something between them that are native to this area, particularly this one island off of Perth, and you can only really see them here, and they're just super cute and interesting.
Wait, so was those the things on your Insta story before where they kind of look like rats the size of dogs?
Hey, were those the dog rats? Is that what you?
Because a valid question.
Yeah, they were.
Those were the
Rats.
things. You got really close to those things, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Could have been a tight zoom on the phone.
Oh, that ain't no tight zoom, bro. That was like he was all up in that shit.
No, SUG, I fed them with my hands.
Oh my God.
Gave them. You could. By the way, and then Raquel Rodriguez. Hopefully, you can hear it on the episode. Raquel Rodriguez got straight Karen'd by someone. Excuse me.
Oh, because
you're not supposed to be feeding the quokkas. Meanwhile,
wait,
we were at a restaurant. Okay, it's outdoor seating. These animals are everywhere. The reason people are there is to see them. And these quokkas that are at the restaurant happen to be the smartest quokkas on the whole island. So they're hanging out at the restaurant. That's why they're there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the video you sent. This thing looks like a rat. And people are just hanging out, just dropping food, letting them scurry around their feet while they eat.
I can't believe you're. Are you looking at the face? Nah. It does not look like a rat.
The body, though.
No, bro, its body is like a possum rat hybrid.
It looks like a kangaroo in the face, kind of.
SUG. Not only does it look like a kangaroo in the face, but when they hop,
not a kangaroo, a koala bear. A koala bear.
Okay, but when they hop, they look like a little kangaroo. They're like a mix of every Australian animal, but look at miniature.
The feet.
The feet are kangaroo.
I'm skeeved out. I'm skeeved out. I couldn't eat at this establishment. With these things hopping around underneath my feet, I'm good.
You know what? I can't argue against you. It's a totally reasonable point. But we had a great time, and then and I've never hung out with Raquel one-on-one in my life, and we ended up taking a ferry out to this place. We searched for quokkas, got ourselves some fish tacos. Then a seagull came and stole one of the fish tacos.
Oh yeah,
it was an adventure.
Is she a GG?
She is. Raquel is the highest level GG you could be. There's no one. There's no better great guy in the business today than Raquel Rodriguez. She is awesome. Originally, it was going to be a bigger group. There were other people all involved, but then it got broken up. Some people went to go see the kangaroos, and we were committed to seeing the quokkas. So
you can see a kangaroo anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. The quokkas, Quokka Flocka Flame. You gotta. These are straight Perth. So if you want, it is though. We talked about a lot of fun stuff, even a little bit of wrestling, but mostly just life stuff. Like she's a really open, interesting person. And as you guys may or may not know, she went through a lot in the last year with her skin health, which is now like doing much better. And so she's just in a really great place. So if you just want to hear a really like casual hangout between myself and Raquel for an hour, we're going to have that up. It's up right now on the Patreon. All right. We got to get into Crown Jewel and everything that's been going on in the world of wrestling in the last couple of weeks. We have not done a bit of that yet. We're going to do it. What's his name? Dipperstein. Yes, that's right. Dipperstein is traveling this week. visiting one of his other mage clients. So Emilio Sparks, our fearless producer, jumped on. We're going to talk about the Crown Jewel card, what's going on with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. We'll get into a little AEW, NXT TNA showdown, plus lots of emails from the mailbag. We're going to get into all of it right here on Cheap Heat Live. If you want to get down with the show, you want to email us, rosenbergwrestling@gmail.com. It's that easy. Yeah, we'll do it all next, right here on Cheap Heat Live, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Marvel Comics' #1 tough guy, the Punisher, explodes onto Game Boy in the ultimate payback, non-stop shoot-'em-up arcade action, and a special appearance by Spider-Man from Acclaim.
Welcome back to Cheap Heat Live on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Peter Rosenberg, StatGuy Greg, producer Emilio Sparks in the house. I am in Australia, of course, in beautiful Perth. Very, very interesting town, this Perth. I've only gotten to explore a little bit, but I'm going to try to do a little bit more before this whole trip wraps up in a couple of days. But, guys, without any further ado, we don't know exactly what's going to happen on SmackDown, of course. But we do know that Crown Jewel is Saturday. That's tomorrow to you and me. Now, it's 8 a.m. Eastern time. So, guys, I guess that means it's an 8 p.m. bell here in Perth.
I'm guessing. That was my guess.
That's, well, I guess I should say this matter of factly. That means it's an 8 p.m. bell because it is 12 hours later here in Perth. So I guess the logic was go with the 8 p.m. start time so you could at least get it up to 8 a.m. on the East Coast and hope to get some people who want to watch live. It's streaming, of course, on ESPN Unlimited. We know that now. Of course, they decided to, we didn't think it was happening until the start of the year, but then it started with WrestlePalooza. So it'll be streaming live on ESPN in the U.S. and Netflix internationally. Now, Emilio, there's a chance you're always still awake at 8 a.m. That's on the table. So I'll say this to SGG. Yeah. SGG, will you set an alarm and wake up to watch Crown Jewel, or is it wake up when you wake up and throw it on?
It's probably going to be wake up when I wake up and throw it on.
What's your wake up time, though, on a Saturday, though?
My wake up time on a Saturday is like 9:30, believe it or not. Like,
okay.
I think just from the week, I'll get held over into waking up early on a Saturday. But that's not really that early to start a day, I don't think.
I was about to say, SGG, oh man, we got to talk. You're 40. You're 40. 9:30 is no longer early. That's just called.
You saw the air quotes.
9:30 is great. Yeah.
Over the radio. If you listen on Sirius, you didn't catch that, but I did. If you're watching on video, I did throw up the air quotes with early. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Right. But Greg really doesn't have any responsibilities. Like, you have child and a dog. Greg just has himself because he's Greg. Like, there's nothing. He could just get up when he wants. He could sit down, have a delicious meal, maybe go back to sleep, take a little nappy. Like, Saturdays are for Greg. Whether or not Crystal wants to do anything, Greg's making the decision. He's like, you know what? I got to chill for a little while.
Saturday, you just stay out the way and hope you don't start something.
Yeah, stay out the way, Jay.
Yeah.
Now, but I'll just say this: I spent like many, many years since I started doing mornings. When the weekend would come, I'd be able to sleep till like 10, 10:30, 11 even. Like, I would really sleep in on the weekend. And Bear does always get me up to feed him, but I'll feed him at 6 a.m. It takes 5 seconds, and I fall right back asleep till whenever I wake up. But the reason I made the reference to 40 is I feel like around 5, 6, 7 years ago is when the whole like sleeping past 10 thing just ended. I don't know why. I lasted a long time of like sleeping late. And then at some point, like now on a weekend, if I let's say Natalie handles the baby, I feed Bear at 6, I go back to sleep. I still feel like when I sleep in, I'm up at 9. Like, it ends up being 9 o'clock. Like, that's still a pretty good snooze. Even 8:30, I'm not mad at. You know what I mean? But that is 40's life. So it'll be interesting to see who decides to get up and watch the show. Particularly funny because we're doing a countdown show. I mean, I came out here, guys, to do the countdown and the post show. Now, the countdown show is going to be one of the least watched countdown shows of all time.
Because you got to remember, from a American, American and United States of America, I mean, centric point of view, North America, South America, this region, sure. But you got to think, right? There are people in the UK, in Asia, Europe, other parts of Europe, Africa, passionate WWE fans who have been waiting for a PLE this time of day. So, like, it could even out. It could bump up. We really don't know what those numbers are going to look like. But just
That's
because
a very
you lost
interesting
the United
point.
States doesn't mean that you are just playing to the Thunderdome. You're going to have an audience.
That's a great point.
Right. The WWE fans in New Zealand finally get to see Mixie P on their time.
Seriously.
No, it's like, by the way, though, so I guess so this will be like a 3 p.m. start or something in the UK. So all across Europe, you'll have 2, 3, 4 o'clock afternoon starts. Africa, it'll be, evening time. It's a great point.
Yeah.
Asia. So like it actually will, that is a really interesting point from an international standpoint. It really does work nicely for people. Now, I will say this though, the post show, because this show will air in the US from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That post show may be cracking off though after people wake up at 11
That's
o'clock.
brunch.
Easy.
That's
Easy.
midnight some places. That's late afternoon, early evening. The post show is going to be the main
be
event.
lit.
No disrespect to anybody else
You-
that's performing. The post
You
show.
got the Sports Center slot Saturday morning.
Yeah, no, it's
College game day. Like you're before college game day. You're the lead-in.
No, it's a good spot. You're not right and not wrong. And my guess is this is completely a prediction, but I'm guessing we'll have John Cena on that show because we didn't get to have him last time because he had the Brock match, and you can't go do an interview after Brock beats you to death. But I have to imagine that whatever happens with AJ Styles, and we can talk about that right now. My feeling is Cena wins this match. My guess is Cena will then come and talk afterwards. Now, would you guys agree? AJ has beaten Cena in some big spots before. I think this is you get a nice John Cena bounce back signature win. SJG, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, AJ's beaten Cena in some big spots before, but Cena, I think the last time they went 1-on-1, Cena won. Cena made history with 16. He's off of a strong year for him, even though people were not really feeling the heel run, where he won his 17th championship. Sure, he's lost to Brock, but he's done that before. He's going to come back, bounce back. He's going to beat AJ Styles, and then we're going to see the John Cena that people have been missing.
So AJ's, do you remember when AJ's big catchphrase was "beat up John Cena"?
Oh yeah,
I
I
do.
loved it. I loved it.
I
do. My good brothers were with them.
Yes, the Good Brothers were with AJ, and that's when AJ turned heel. And I actually have a drop. My drop that I have from AJ Styles for my radio show is him saying, "This is the phenomenal AJ Styles, blah, blah, blah. I'm here in New York City. This weekend, I'm going to do what I do best. Beat up John Cena."
His heel run, completely underrated. Like, I don't think people give AJ Styles the credit he deserves for that heel run. He also had, in the heaters and Gallows and Anderson just being the proverbial shit stirrers that they are, like the whole thing just worked. And I was always upset that they never pulled the trigger on giving us the WWE version of the Bullet Club, because I think it was there at the time, because you had Finn Balor, you had AJ Styles, and you had the Good Brothers, where they really could have ran shop. And we're seeing it now. Factions are running, SmackDown and Raw and, parts of NXT, where that faction would have did so well in this era if they just were here now.
Yeah,
You could have offset them again. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why would you disagree?
I'm glad they didn't do it. It would have been derivative. It would have just opened them up to comparisons unnecessarily. Like, for example, right? AJ Styles and Nakamura, they had a banger at Wrestle Kingdom. 5-star classic. And then when people saw on paper that we were getting AJ Styles and Nakamura again, they were fighting the ghost of their past success, and the match just didn't live up to it. And I think that we saw with the NWO when they brought over Hogan, Hall, and Nash. It was the core three that people loved, and even that, the same thing. They were fighting the ghosts of their past success, lost again. The WWE version of the NWO just didn't live up to it. And that was
is an
Vince coming
interesting
off the
thought.
Attitude Era. He had all the pieces in play. He had The Rock still. He had Stone Cold still. WWE was still hot, and the NWO couldn't be as big as they were in that era. So dropping the Bullet Club on a Vince that everybody felt like was out of touch, lost his way, and then hoping that they could recapture the magic in WWE, I just don't think it was going to happen.
It's a strong take, SGJ. I hear what you're saying, because it does seem like a lot of the things that seem cool elsewhere, whether it's international or AEW, when you bring it here and it gets the big corporate push of it, it is hard to make it live up to what people wanted. And there's also just a built-in, like, you can't please the hardcore fans. Like the fans who really love the Bullet Club, a lot of them are the same kind of fans that are apt to dislike it when it's the WWE version. Now, the John Cena's AJ Styles record is Money in the Bank 2016, AJ won. SummerSlam 2016, beat up John Cena, AJ won. Rumble 2017, John Cena wins his 16th title, beating AJ Styles. And then John beat him in 2018 on an episode of SmackDown. So they're 2-2. This is the fifth singles match between John Cena and AJ Styles. I got to tell you, I always say this. It's almost like boring at this point, but I really mean it. I was convinced we would never get AJ Styles in WWE. So the fact that like not only did he come here, but when John Cena is having his final run, it was like imperative that he get a match with AJ Styles. That's like still a cool thing that like I can't believe.
But they have a lot of history though too. You know, this is the fifth time that they're wrestling, and I think it probably means more than when they fought each other for the WWE Championship. Like this is like one of John Cena's last matches, and to be asked to do it and want to do it, and you know how they went about it on social media. You know, I think there's a lot more bragging rights to say if I'm AJ Styles, you know, I beat John Cena on his way out. You know, whether or not he's not going to be the last opponent, but he's one of the last opponents. To say that, you know, he had John Cena looking up at the lights, like that's a braggadocious thing to say. Like I went over on John Cena.
But the flip side is true too, because the rumors are that AJ Styles, or like I said, the rumor is that AJ Styles is going to be retiring at some point next year. So this is also one of AJ Styles' last matches. And so I think John Cena wants to make that same claim that, like, when I went out, I got one over. I got the last one over on the Phenomenal One.
I just think it's cool that they even have a rivalry, is my point. Like, it was such a wild, like seeing them in the ring at the same time together. And now when you go back and see early AJ in WWE, like he still very much looked like AJ from TNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he was just, I mean, listen, AJ, you know, it's an interesting conversation, maybe one worth having today, considering the TNA NXT showdown and everything that's been happening with TNA. Is AJ Styles the greatest TNA superstar of all time?
Okay, so there's three for me that I think that make up that specific era of TNA when it was incredible, right?
I don't mean
Samoa
specific
Joe.
Era. I mean the greatest
all time.
ever.
Yeah.
Because
I would say so. He carried that promotion on his back for a very, very long time. And then when he left and started to go on his independent run, when he had his 2 IWGP title runs, they felt that loss without him.
So AJ, Samoa Joe,
and Kurt Angle. Yeah. Kurt Angle really carried that company on his back as well, even though Kurt was already a made man by the time he got there. But they were rocking on all cylinders at one point. Like that they were really telling great stories. They were having incredible matches. Their mid-card was super strong. But in that main event title picture, you had AJ Styles, you had Samoa Joe, and you had Kurt Angle. Like that was the triad of just good.
That's the thing that makes AJ such the perfect pick for this greatest TNA wrestler of all time, though, because it wasn't just the main event. He was all up and down that card, and he made it all matter.
Everything. He did everything. He was Ultimate X. He was, even when they were, before they even had their own championship, he was NWA champion when they were still doing NWA TNA. So like he was there from, I want to know if he was there, and I don't remember, but I remember they used to do pay-per-views weekly.
I think he
Impact
was
Wrestling.
there
They used to do,
when they did
and
like.
I think
he was.
right. It was early on, but I think what really solidified AJ Styles to come to WWE was the 2 runs in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like Greg said before, working Nakamura and, Omega and Okada and Tanahashi, those were the guys that really, I think, caught the attention of folks in WWE to be like, okay, cool, TNA is great, but okay, he's over there now. And he's the guy over there. He's headlining the Dome for Wrestle Kingdom. Okay, he's the leader of this faction that's full of Gaijin guys, and they're making money hand over fist with this T-shirt. Okay, let's bring him here now, and let's see what he can do here. Which is why I thought it would have been a no-brainer to put him together with Finn and Gallows and Anderson to see if they can capture some of that lightning in a bottle that they had in Bullet Club with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, listen, it's a very fun conversation. The who are the greatest TNA superstars of all time? I think you make a great case for those 3. I think Sting was super important. At the right
Abyss as well.
Abyss is big. There's a lot of, honestly, as you go through up and, I mean, you can even argue, the Christopher Daniels of the world. There are a lot of people who really put in a lot of great work there and deserve their flowers. Listen, the Dudleys, Team 3D were big there. There was a lot of people who did big stuff there, but I think it's AJ and Samoa Joe, to me, are the 2 most fundamental guys because they became stars in TNA. Kurt Angle's career and Hall of Fame career is 100% locked and certified without TNA. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe are basically the logo. You know what I mean? Like when I think all time, and that's saying that in the middle of what is a really cool run right now, which we'll get into. We'll talk some about that next, and we got to finish going through the card, and then we'll get to the mailbag as well. And I am here in Perth, Australia, where tomorrow I will do the countdown show, I guess at 6 a.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. local here in Australia. And of course, you can watch it all on ESPN Unlimited. Now, so far we know we have Cody and Seth. And that match for the Crown Jewel Championship, of course, is respectfully whatever. But they're clearly making this a big moment for Seth and the relationship with Paul Heyman and the Vision. And guys, it does seem like there seem to be some mixed feelings out there in the world about how this whole Vision thing is going and what the future holds for the Vision. So, SUG, let me ask you, who do you think wins this match at Crown Jewel?
I think Seth wins this match at Crown Jewel. I know we say this all the time, like, oh, this person needs it, but it's not really that Seth needs to win. I think it's that Cody needs to lose because Cody is running the risk of not getting stale, but I mean, you can't just keep racking up these wins. He's the good guy. His story has to be interesting, and the way you make that interesting is some meaningful losses at the right spots that don't hurt him at all. And I think this is exactly going to be one of those spots. This is the perfect opportunity. So I think he needs to lose for his character. And then, of course, what that does for Seth is I don't think it makes him this all-powerful being, this leader of the Vision, but it does give him a little bit of his swagger that we saw was wavering on Monday. Like he needed Heyman to talk him up and try to restore some confidence. I think a win does that.
Yeah, I view it from the other standpoint of it being more important, if you will, for Seth than it is for Cody at this moment. I just think if Seth doesn't get sort of an emphatic win, first of all, it's 4 straight losses to Cody Rhodes. And
22
I just think,
if you add in live events.
22?
Yeah.
Not 22 straight.
House shows House shows
Since
don't count. You
since
know
Cody came back,
that.
it doesn't count. But I'm just saying, it just adds to the desperation, though. It's not
But
just
wait,
4-0. It's 4-0.
and Seth hasn't beaten him anytime.
No,
That's crazy. That is crazy. So yeah, I do think that the Seth thing needs it. You know, like Seth was just so smoking hot coming out of the cash in, and you know, the tag match was a fun thing, but let's be realistic, guys. The WrestlePalooza thing was much more about AJ Lee than anything else, right?
Yeah.
Seth was kind of the background on that, which is why I popped on the post show when him and Cody had that stare down to lead to this. And I do think when we talk about all the exciting rivalries that exist in WWE today, when it comes to actually great matches to back up that rivalry, Seth and Cody offer something tremendous. Like they are just good together in the ring. And I would love to see Seth get a couple W's back on Cody Rhodes to make this thing mean a little bit more. Emilio, are you in lockstep with me and SUG? You like Seth to win tomorrow?
I definitely want Seth to win because I feel like he's been drifting post cash in. And, you know, like you said, WrestlePalooza was more about the return of AJ Lee, and people wanted to see her and Becky mix it up more than anything else. So I feel like he's been drifting in regards to importance. He shouldn't be, because I think he should be the focal point since he is the world heavyweight champion, and it doesn't feel like that. It always feels like he plays second fiddle to whoever is there, whether it's CM Punk, whether it's Roman Reigns. And I don't think he deserves that because he is so good. And yeah, I think a lot is riding on him and his boys, because if he loses a fifth time, I don't think the Bronze will look at him as a leader. I think they'll just be like, all right, we're going to go off and do our own thing now because you can't get the job done. If anything, we protect you. You don't lead us.
No, I feel that. It's a very legit point. Now speaking of, by the way, the Bronson Reed of it all, SUG, you've been candid about your tribal chief,
Yeah.
a man who you admire greatly, who we've talked about how incredible he is. I told you guys the aura is on 10,000. How do you feel about another match, a quote Australian street fight, which does feel like the laziest stipulation possible when we're coming up with something? Just throw random country or city in front of the word street fight. But how do you feel about another Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns?
What's not to like? This is like, look, this is a rivalry. I know people are like, oh, they did it. Now they're doing it again. And for me, it's always been like, yeah, that's how you build a rivalry. That's how you give them a history. That's what makes the next match, if they get to it next month, next year, or a few years from now, these are the moments that's going to go in that video package. I don't need the random one off here and then another one that, like, that's not a story. This feels like a rivalry. And not to mention, with War Games right around the corner, this Australian street fight is perking my antennas up, and maybe this is going to be, we're going to get an angle of some sort with this match that's going to see these two men on opposite teams. What the rest of that team looks like, I don't know. It's because it's easier to fill out on Bronson Reed's side. Obviously, Seth Rollins is there, Braun Breaker's there, maybe Brock Lesnar's there. He's been talking to Heyman. He's been chirping in Heyman's ear. Maybe Brock Lesnar's there. I don't know. But I like this. I like this because that's what you want. You want to see your guy on the PLE this late in the year because it's going to flow into the Rumble and it's going to flow into Mania. And that means he has a rival for Mania season. Whether or not that ends up being his Mania opponent, it doesn't matter. But you never want to be left thinking, damn, what's going to happen to my guy at Mania? And Roman still has his rivals. It could be Braun Breaker next. He could be ready for Seth Rollins around that time. But I'm good with it.
I have to imagine we get a good old solid clean win for Roman Reigns in which he does not get beat down at the end of this match. It cannot end again with another beatdown of Roman Reigns and him getting stretchered out after 5 tsunamis. It can't happen.
But that's what happened last time, though. He got the good, clean win. He just had to he got to take the good with the bad. Or as they say in Chicago, you got to take the bitter with the sweet. He had to take the beat down too. He got the win. I would like to see if he can not get stretched out. Maybe we'll trade it off for an L. He just takes an L. I don't have to see my tribal chief get beat down again. I don't know.
But Roman Reigns getting put on a stretcher and then out for a couple more weeks on TV does more for Bronson Reed than a win for Roman Reigns. Because if you need to, and you want to, and you should, want to build Bronson Reed as one of the next guys. Like last week, we talked about new blood and what are we doing to build this new blood? Bronson Reed's the definition of new blood. Yeah. And you really want to make, like, there's such a strong mid card that you need a monster on the mid card. WWE doesn't have that stereotypical monster. Bronson Reed could be your monster. And, you know, there is an Intercontinental Championship. There's a United States Championship that has Bronson Reed's name on it. So him getting established by beating Roman Reigns, stealing his sneakers, giving multiple tsunamis to Seth Rollins. This is the type of stuff that's going to build this guy up. So, yeah, I think being stretchered out does more for Bronson Reed than a win for Roman. So I got to go Bronson Reed. I would love to see Bronson beat him.
All right, well, we will find out. That would be very, very interesting if it happened again. But a big, big matchup for Bronson Reed as he takes on Roman Reigns in the Australian Street Fight. We'll get to the rest of the card as well. And I want to jump into the mailbag a little bit. We talked about Cody and Seth. You have Stephanie and Tiffany. Guys, I'd like to see Stephanie Vaquer win this match as well and like continue her quest to just be like one of the top people in all of WWE. Does anybody disagree with that, SGG?
No arguments from me. I mean, I feel like this is one of those matches where, of course, she's gonna win. Not that she has to, but that just feels like an of course Stephanie Vaquer is gonna win.
Emilio, you with us on this?
Yeah, no, she's red hot right now. I think what she's done in the 7 months that she's been with WWE, she held the 2 championships in NXT, and now she's WWE Women's Champion. She's over like Rover, man. So as much as I love Tiffy Time, it's Stephanie's time. And that's it. So yeah, like you want to talk about probably like a quintessential woman on the roster right now. It like you called it though. How many months ago did you call it that she was going to be as Mage can be?
I think like 4 months ago now, maybe 3-4 months.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is before
she has it all.
Champ too.
It was I believe just pre-champ, and she has just been on an absolute run. She has everything there is to have. And listen, Tiffany Stratton has a very bright future, and this has been a hell of a run for her. I think Tiffany's character, I've said this before too, I think Tiffany needs a little more. I think some losses, some depth to the character. I think it is very hard being sort of this perfect seeming babyface champion whose main thing is really pointing to her wrist and yelling, "What time is it?" It's very hard to tell me what more her character is right now, except prettiest moonsault ever and what time is it? Now, those are 2 very cool things to have, and she is athletically, guys. Tiffany Stratton is super gifted. You know what I mean? She's going to be a really good in-ring wrestler. I think Tiffy's sort of just cracking the surface on who she can be in the ring. But I really do feel that like this character at this stage with this little sort of time in the game and this much success, guys, it's just screaming to be a heel. And actually, I wouldn't hate her healing off on Stephanie in this match. Like, I would not hate this being the moment where Tiffany becomes that guy right now against Stephanie, who's so loved. And I think it would be a great thing for Tiffany Stratton. At some point, guys, it's going to turn to Boo Birds. You know, she was at a point of being over where when it was her and Charlotte, everyone was just crushing Charlotte and all about Tiffy. Since then, I would push you and say, how has the character grown and developed? She's gotten signature wins, but the character doesn't have the depth. I'd love to see her go on a good heel run, maybe starting tomorrow at Crown Jewel.
I feel like Tiffany is only babyface next to Charlotte. That's the only place where that character can
Old
be a
Charlotte
babyface.
too. Maybe not even right now, Charlotte.
That's what I'm gonna say. Players Tribune, hard on her sleeve, Charlotte. Tiffany doesn't want to stand next to her either. It's like you said, those boo birds are gonna sing. And yeah, it feels like her character is shallow, it's a little bit vapid, self-absorbed, and none of that translates to babyface. She can be exactly who she is if they commit to her being a heel character. But if they want her to be babyface, I agree with you, P. They got to give her a little bit more, whether it's personality, whether it's a little bit more depth or vulnerability. She needs more, because at this surface level that we're getting right now, this tip of the iceberg personality, we're not gonna. It's not babyface.
Well, she's a tweener, right, in regards to what her character is, and it doesn't necessarily translate well when you're pushing her as this ultimate babyface. And I got to agree with P, because there is more depth for her when she was in NXT, and she was just this mega rich, spoiled brat heel that everybody wanted to beat up. And, you're not seeing that here. We saw that for like a glimpse before people really just got into the physical attributes of what she was doing in the matches that she was having. And I think that's the issue now, is you see that there is no real, like depth to her character and who she is and why she is. And Greg, you're right. You put her against a Charlotte Flair, people were just going to boo Charlotte Flair because it was the in thing to do, because the internet doesn't like Charlotte Flair. Yes. So it's like, we're going to boo Charlotte because we're sick of Charlotte Flair, so we're going to cheer Tiffany Stratton. And I think they rushed putting the championship on Tiffany Stratton because she got so hot. And I think they cashed in too soon. I think there was still a lot between Nia Jax and Bianca that we could have seen. They could have went at it. My question to you, and I would love to know this, who takes the championship off Tiffany Stratton? I thought it was going to be Jade Cargill. That didn't happen.
So at SummerSlam, I think one of the underrated moments that kind of slipped under the radar was Jade Cargill losing clean to Tiffany Stratton. Like that to me, and listen, I both of them are young in their wrestling careers. Both of them have a lot of growing to do. But Jade Cargill, by virtue of the kind of physical specimen she is, I just think her losing clean in singles matches should be really, really rare. You know what's funny? Speaking of which, I saw my algorithm today fed me a clip I don't think I'd ever seen. Have you guys seen the clip of Bobby Heenan talking about how bad they messed up the booking of Goldberg by having him lose?
I saw that clip like within the last week. Also, my algorithm threw that to me too. So whoever uploaded that, shout out to you, because
shout out to you. It's doing the round
either.
And they know how to find the right people. But it's interesting for a couple of reasons. One, I never heard anyone specifically point out Heenan being like, and his name is Goldberg, he's Jewish. Think about all the advertising executives who are Jewish. They could have done so much with that. He was like really blunt in a very Bobby Heenan way. And by the way, he's 100% right. Like that is very smart business, because I think there were a lot of Jewish people at the time who were like, oh my God, wow, a wrestler named Goldberg, this is crazy. But he was also making just the bigger point about how there was so much more to do by having the winning just continue, SGJ.
Yeah. And look, I know for some of the, I guess, Gen Z wrestling fans who might be listening to, maybe even the younger millennials, hearing us not be offended at all by the fact that Bobby Heenan so openly, bluntly said, look, he's Jewish. Advertising executives might identify with that. We could do something with that. The history of pro wrestling is, right? Like Bruno Sammartino held that title for almost 20 years because the Italians would go to Madison Square Garden. And then when it was time to flip it, it was because they put it on a Puerto Rican, because the Puerto Ricans was there too. So this idea of somebody who has a strong cultural connection and background taking the title and running with it, it's not that far-fetched. And from a business sense, they did that a lot.
Right, but even strip aside the business aspect, he was red hot. They took the championship off of him too soon. There was so much more story to tell. He could have been the NWO
hold on,
killer.
SGG, by the way, Emilio already seems like he's Vince Russo. This particular topic and the animation that he's going to is like you literally just transformed into Vince Russo in 1 second. Sorry. And you've got to keep going.
Bro, this is what I'm saying, bro. They should have never took the championship off of him, bro. Goldberg, bro, was red hot.
I
bro.
said it. I
He
said
was.
it, bro. I told them, bro.
Bro, they should have never did it, bro. I was writing the book for him, bro. I didn't want to take it off of him. Nash pulled me into a corner, bro, and told me, bro, if I don't do it, he's going to kick the shit out of me, bro. I didn't want to do it, bro.
But yeah, no, listen, and I think Heenan's being a little bit exaggerated by saying he should have went to 2000 and
Yeah, 2000.
You know, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, Bobby. Although you could just lie because listen, they lied with the number they had in the first place, right?
Of course.
But it was just an interesting point, and I see Jade Cargill in a lot of ways in a similar fashion to how one would see Goldberg. And SGG, we've been talking about this. I like the idea of booking Jade just hammering people. So by the time she gets to that championship match, you're just going, I cannot picture her losing. So when, for example, if Jade never loses and you have her beat up every week, she's beating up Maxine Dupree, she's beating up Natty, she's beating up Nikki Cross, she's beating up B-Fab, she's beating up everyone there is to beat up, right, in quick fashion. Then you let her have a couple of bigger PLE matches against people higher up. You see her beat up a Bailey. You see her beat up Becky Lynch. You get to the point where when she has a match against whoever's champion at the time, whether it's Stephanie Vaquer, whether it's Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Bianca, you just go, something's got to give because Jade Cargill is not losing. I think that makes her become must-see TV. And I think they've really done a disservice to her incredible physique and athleticism by letting her be this sort of scrapper with people. It doesn't really make sense. She could get there eventually where she has wars with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, but I just think she needs to go on a run, and I'm going to keep beating this drum because I think it's important. She needs to go on a run of complete and utter dominance. And again, that just takes me back to the Tiffany Stratton match at SummerSlam. Like, no big deal, prettiest moonsault ever, 1, 2, 3 on Jade Cargill. Like, it, to me, that was just I don't know, it kind of feels like old school booking in like the Tiffany Stratton came up in our system, Jade Cargill came from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Let's give a win to the WWE system. But the truth is, if that was the logic, and I'm making that up, it would be faulty logic anyone, because in the long run, respectfully, and I say this as someone who enjoys AEW, no one's going to even really remember her AEW run. She's basically, Jade's going to end up being what feels like a WWE star in the first place. She had such a limited run on AEW. When you really think about it, it was a couple years, mostly on Rampage. And was it pre-Collision or Collision 2, Emilio?
It was Collision as well.
And Collision as well.
And then
she
had
most of her time
yeah.
not on Wednesdays, but mostly not on Wednesdays, which was a mistake.
Well, she would do more promos on Wednesdays with Smart Mark Sterling, where she was doing that bitch show, and she was doing cut the shit, Tony.
That's when she got called a heifer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think Collision and I think Rampage were the perfect place for her because she could grow and she could have the matches that she needed to, and they were quick. But
they did it exactly right. They did it exactly right, Emilio. But in the long run, in 5 years from now, people aren't even going to really remember that she's an AEW person because she seems so WWE, and because they didn't utilize her in the biggest way on AEW.
Well, I don't see them. And this is where I'll push back with that. If WWE does it right and makes her a juggernaut right now, and she goes through people, because I looked at her cage matches, she's lost more than she's won this year. So,
wow.
You really have to, you got to go all in with her. And if you don't go all in with her and make her the threat, because that SmackDown women's division's ripe for the taking, it could be her division. Yep. And right now she's gonna come back bigger than ever, because when she posted that picture of her cut, like, she got a ton of sympathy. So it's like, you could come back even bigger now. Now she has to go and just start nerfing folks. She's just got to, she can do it. Like, let her put Kiana James through the dirt. You know what? If you don't want to put the world championship on her, let her go against Julia and make her United States champion, because that belt has no relevance right now. So it's like, you know what? Let's start to put some onus on that belt. Jade, that would be the perfect belt for Jade. And then that can set her up to, if not now, when does she become world champion? And I thought, oh man, I was so smug. I'm part of that Jade Cargill hive. I thought she was beating Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. I was like, this is it. This is the era. It's going to happen. Because Pete, you're right. She has all the tangibles that makes her a WWE superstar, but more importantly, makes her a focal point of the company, where you could put her on TV and you can make her do all the media appearances, because she has the look and she has the charisma. And without that belt right now, you're doing a disservice to Jade Cargill. Put the belt on Jade Cargill.
I agree. I'm down for a title on her. At the very least, though, can we just start getting her some W's? It's just I know it's not the be all end all. I know it's not the be all end all, but I do think in this case it matters. We also, of course, have Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Rhea and Io Sky. That should be a fun matchup. I don't particularly have a thought on who's going to win that match.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really have frankly, I don't know how much it matters. But it should be a really entertaining matchup. I mean, listen, there's no title implications in here. You know, listen, I'm not Dipperstein who's going to go, I just don't get it, guys. I just do not understand.
I tried. I thought I explained it so eloquently.
That's the fun. So the funny part is
too much detail. You gave him too much detail. You needed to keep it to like 3 words.
He needs detail because he wants story. So I'm laying out the fucking story for Dipperstein.
The funniest
the problem
part
is this wasn't the picture book that you laid out for him. You gave him.
Yeah. But for the audience who's listening, they only heard us on the show last week with Dipperstein saying how he doesn't understand anything. They don't realize that 2 days earlier, your man Emilio sent an entire blow-by-blow of the entire story to the group chat. So not only does Dipperstein probably not pay attention to the show when it's airing, but also couldn't even get through the text messages while paying attention.
No.
So he gets on the air and just goes, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Emilio, don't worry. It's a rite of passage, because the same thing has happened to me with many a storyline.
I got to tell you guys, Dipperstein has a really,
show.
in real life dealings with Dip as my manager, he is very selfless. And because of the nature of our relationship where he works for me and just the kind of friend that he is, it's a very selfless relationship where a lot of the focus is on me. And I appreciate that and don't take it for granted. When it comes to wrestling, Dip is the most self-involved, self-important person I've ever talked to. Every opinion that he has is only wrapped up in his little tiny bubble of what he finds interesting, the things that he finds important, down to where he'll be like, oh my God, how mage is this card? And he mentions some random WCW card to us, and we're like, I don't know, not mage in particular? Yeah. Like, compared to what?
He was right about the Jumping Bob Angels, though. I got to give him that one. He was right. He was right about the Jumping Bob Angels.
I think he was surprised by how right he was. That tag title match was much more mage than I expected.
It was.
I give credit where credit is due.
I was like, why did we let Dip pick? What is this? He wouldn't let it go either.
All right, let's dive into some mailbag and some AEW after the break. It is Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 Cheap Heat Live. I am in Perth, Australia, where Crown Jewel will go down tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Unlimited. It's Cheap Heat Live, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. World Wrestling Federation Activewear by Weiner. Exciting tops and bottoms for the warriors and Hulkamaniacs in your family. Youth and adult sizes now available nationwide.
All right, welcome back to Cheap Heat Live. I've been promising all day here a few things to mention AEW, to get to the TNA, NXT of it all, but also to do some mailbag from our patrons. Cheap Heat Live on Patreon. And let's see. Millen DeVillain writes, Pete, how did you catch up on all the Attitude Era and Monday Night Wars before the network existed? Even with everything on demand now, I can't imagine you saw everything from back then. So do you feel like you're missing a certain level of familiarity and knowledge of a hardcore wrestling fan? It's a great, thoughtful question. Okay, so I'm going to go in reverse. Yes, I am definitely missing a certain level of familiarity and knowledge that a hardcore wrestling fan has. Dip will like reference, a certain random fakakta sort of B or C level storyline from the Attitude Era that I will just be like, yeah, I can picture who that is, but I don't remember what the story was at all. There's just, if you didn't watch every week, even if you go back and relive it as best you can, you're not seeing every single episode week to week. So some things just don't hit the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it would be disingenuous for me to say, oh, I caught up so completely that I know everything. No. How
People
did you
do that
catch
though.
up?
People
I don't.
do that.
I can't.
Not-
Guys.
Yeah,
I don't
but
even,
there's also chunks. There's also chunks of the Attitude Era that you can just fast forward through. Like nobody cares about Doug Furness and Philip LaFawn versus the Headbangers or the Disciples of the Apocalypse. You know what I mean? Like we against
Or
those are
Val
okay,
Venis
but those
getting his
but
dick
those are
out.
but those are
Yeah.
those are great examples though. Like DOA, for example, are someone that like Dip would talk about like their mage. And I'm like, I don't really know. Now, Headbangers are a different Headbangers made it to a different level. Like their consistency in the tag division was enough that like, how do you not have respect for the Headbangers, for God's sake? But like,
Right, but even as his beaver cleavage, did you remember that? Did you remember
Yeah.
when one of them was portrayed as Beaver Cleaver, but he was called Beaver Cleavage?
no, do not remember this.
You're not missing anything. Then you're good. Don't worry about it. Like
And
you're
like
good.
Doug Furness, a name that I don't have anything to say about. Also, but I know the
I mean,
name.
Doug Furness and Philip LaFawn, they had some bangers. Like they can go, but in WWE at that time, again, nobody really cared. You watched everything that you needed to. The Brawl for Alls, the Ministry of Darkness, the Austin 316 rise, the rise of The Rock, Degeneration X, Triple H, Chris Jericho coming in. Like so everything that you're supposed to know as a broadcast journalist talking about this stuff, but like the minutia
Broadcast
of
journalist.
like the little, like the Takamichi Noku stuff, like, versus S.A. Rios. Do you really need to know that for the light heavyweight championship?
Probably not. So, and I don't.
Okay.
Problem solved. So, and then the way that I caught up before the network existed was I became a DVD fiend. So like I would go to I basically went from, since I was always digging for records, once I was at the record stores, I started going to their DVD sections. And then I would go to their WWE, the wrestling sections of the old DVDs, and old wrestling DVDs would be like $3, $7, $10 max. And I would just buy up, like my DVD collection is crazy. So I would just buy up every sort of DVD I could find. Then I had the entire Mania box set, the entire Rumble box set, the entire SummerSlam. I had every box set there was, plus I would just go buy every DVD there was. Then I had some like nerdy friends who I met from radio who would like make me DVDs and send me some stuff. And then of course the network came along, and we've never, let's be honest, guys, we've never gotten back to the network.
No.
The network still should be a thing.
The network still exists overseas. Is that true or no?
I don't think so. I think it got rolled into Netflix, didn't it?
When you go to network, this is so interesting. I just went to network.wwe.com, and it there's a link there, and it says WWE. Guys, go look at this. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in the group chat. This is fascinating. Here.
Could you get a company login?
That's a great question. Well, it's asking me to log in as if like, would your ESPN email get you in here? Like,
Try that.
What?
Are you looking at this?
Yeah, I saw it. It had the ESPN logo and all that on there.
Pete, try your ESPN logo and password. See if it works. Let's see if we could circumvent and crack a code live on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7.
Yeah.
Because this looks like it's the network, and it's if we just discovered that they did some ill-ish, hold on, reset your password. I'm about to reset my password. But is this what my WWE network password? What? Hold on.
This is like discovering plutonium.
By the way, 40th anniversary of Back to the Future coming up. I'm resetting my password, guys. But you see what it looks like. You see that it physically looks like the network, right?
Yeah.
But they got the giant
if this
ESPN
works
logo on it.
Oh God, if this works.
Can you imagine what it would mean if we cracked the code. All right, hold on. I'm logging in.
Well,
I'm at
We're
been-
sharing all of
Nah,
this.
It's been updated. It looks good.
The network was so good. Oh, I miss it.
It says it's not letting me log in. Hold on, because I'm connected to a VPN. I'm disconnecting the VPN. Because I thought I was going to find some international website, but this isn't.
Nah, this is
international.
clean. Oh,
Hold on, I'm in. Watch now. Unable to play
Oh, no.
content. If you're a WWE Network subscriber, please log in and try again. So I'm overseas. Yo, guys, but hold on. That's crazy though. Something's going on here. When I was connected to the VPN, it had WWE/ESPN. I turned off the VPN. Now it says WWE/Netflix. Are they about to give us back the network, but through ESPN and Netflix?
yo, that's fire! And this
Is
looks
figuring something out.
this looks so good too.
Yeah, this is great looking.
It's clean. Everything
And
is
it looks like the actual thing, right?
yeah.
But now I got it. Maybe I just wasn't doing my. Do either of you guys know your ESPN password?
Yeah,
No.
I got an ESPN password.
How
Not
do you
through
guys
my
watch the
cable provider.
PLEs?
Not through my cable.
Through Hulu and Disney. I got the
But
Disney bundle.
But I wonder if you could just plug that in. It like do you have the ESPN that allows you to get the PLEs?
Nah.
I have the Disney Plus, so that allows me to get everything.
All right, hold on.
Hulu, Disney, and ESPN.
It would be great because SUG doesn't it look like
There's no reason for them to
Favorites,
update
history.
the site with this much detail if we're not going to get something Mage.
it looks
Well,
like
I
the
think what
network
we-
could be back, guys. It could be that the network's back.
I think you need to text one of those bigwigs that you're friends with and be
I'm
like,
doing it
"Hey,
right now. Hold on.
so could I get a ESPN WWE Network login?" Because they
Well,
used
no,
to
but-
give those out like candy when I worked there. They were like, "You want a network login? You got it. Your cousin's mother, sister's brother wants one? They got it too."
Well, but we should. But in theory, if it's working, then my ESPN login, if I can just, I'm doing. If I wasn't doing the show live right now, and my brain could go through the gymnastics to figure it out, I would think that your ESPN could get you in
It has
This-
to.
because this is a huge deal. Because when I first started coming back to WWE, so at the bottom of the screen, guys, do you see it says it has all these choices?
Yeah.
Premium
Yeah.
live events, Raw, SmackDown,
SmackDown,
NXT, in ring, and originals.
Yeah, it has everything.
Oh, hold on. And I just went to originals, and it says this week, Best of WWE. This is awesome. Broken Skull, Raw Talk, The Bump.
Nah,
I can go relive The Bump.
this is clean.
Who doesn't want to relive the bump?
See,
The
but that makes me
SmackDown lowdown.
that makes me think this is old though. Because
might
of what's
be.
there.
Do you think bring it to the tables on here too?
Why would the
It used to
ESPN
be.
logo be there though?
But why would the ESPN logo be there?
That's a
See?
development that's a month old.
It
This is why
has
we.
to be.
By the way, guys, this is why we love wrestling and think it's great. Because look at us.
Yeah, nerding out over a website that none of us have access to.
All right. So thank you to that message that none of us can even get to. We're gonna figure it out. All right. Anthony writes us and says, in regards to Crown Jewel, how are we feeling about a potential Brock Lesnar appearance in one of the Vision-centric matches to set up War Games? The street fight feels like the most logical of places.
like
Does that
that.
mean Brock? Does you mean Brock Lesnar joining the Vision?
I think so. I think that's what.
I hope not.
I think that's what they're getting at.
So what? That means what? They kick Seth out and Brock comes in, and then that can set
No,
up Brock
no.
versus Seth.
No.
No,
I think
remember when-
I think Brock comes in. Brock comes in, helps out Seth, and there's sort of this begrudging now relationship of Seth is still the man, but Paul Heyman was worried about Seth getting it done, so he brought in Brock Lesnar, and now they're all in the Vision together. Is that how you see it, SGG?
That's exactly how I see it. Which, let's remember, that's exactly how Roman Reigns and CM Punk ended up on the same War Games team Last year, it was on the babyface side, but Heyman pulled that same
I don't
trick.
like that.
My guy might not be able to get it done, so let me bring in my old guy to help him out. And there is a rumor that Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns is going to actually close the show and main event. So if that happens, yeah, I think that means that we're going to see Brock Lesnar help out.
You know what? That begs another question, though, guys. Do you think, in general, whether Brock or otherwise, there is some sort of big surprise at Crown Jewel?
Well, seeing as how we didn't get any at WrestlePalooza, yeah, I think they got to make do for Crown Jewel. Yeah, I just don't think they can end where, Roman beats Braun and then everybody goes home happy and then it cuts to the post show with you and Big E. I don't think that would work.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say big surprise, but I think this show is going to
let me tell you something.
Push stories forward.
Right, but Brock Lesnar interfering in the Crown Jewel championship match between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, that's a huge surprise. Because now you're adding in the equation of Brock Lesnar, and we all know Brock wants his pound of flesh in the form of a championship. Because Roman's still get a feud with the Bronze. That's not changing for a while, and especially will he, won't he, Jey Uso heel turn that they've been teasing. Brock and Seth's gonna need something to do.
Can I say, by the way, with regards to that,
on the Bronze,
with regards to the Uso thing, I really, really hope they have a plan in place for the Jimmy Uso thing. I really hope, because we have seen guys when it comes to like tag teams and what will they, won't they, break up, heel, face. Sometimes you end up looking back and realize they never knew what they were going to do. They were just sort of toying with us. And like that whole thing of Roman and Jey now, at first I thought it was about Jimmy. And guys, now I'm not so sure. Like, part of me thinks it's just about Roman and Jey, and they don't have an answer for Jimmy, and he's literally just standing there. And I really, really hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case either. And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because what I've seen with this Bloodline story so far over the course of the over 5 years now is that even when they don't have a plan for anything else, the smallest details come together for the Bloodline, as long as The Rock is not involved. If Roman's involved,
in which case you never know.
Right. Well, you say that because you love the Bloodline.
I say that
think
because the Bloodline has though. Like we can.
But I also think that the Bloodline has reached its peak and it should be done now. I think it should be finished. We should move on. I think this OTC Roman is done. Give us a different type of Roman Reigns now. I think this character is finished. Let's move on. It's time to evolve. If you still have some unfinished business with your cousin,
Roman should be evolve? I like that.
I would love to see Roman on Evolve. I think he should be main eventing every week. What are you talking about? Come on. Have him work third chair with you and Stone.
I hear you though. I do think that like you could argue SGG that to truly honor the Bloodline story in the way that huge fans such as yourself feel about it, the number one way to do that is to move on. And sometimes I do feel like the OTC thing was another, to Emilio's point, it was just grasping one more time to hold on to that. And now they're doing the same thing with Jey. It's like we don't know exactly where to go with Roman. And like if we're ever going to do anything meaningful with Roman and the Usos again, we need like a real year or two of separation. Like where they really do their own thing. And like I said, which brings me back full circle to where this conversation started. I hope they have a plan beyond Jimmy's just standing there, because guys, it's Big Jim's time to shine.
Yeah. And I think that's how you actually really honor the Bloodline and like cement them, right? Is like they were talked about as the greatest faction of all time. They were put in that conversation when it was just the three of them. Roman, Jimmy, and Jey with Heyman. 2 world champions are there. If you could get Jimmy up to that level to where he's their equal, and it isn't just Roman and his cousins, but it's like 3 distinct personalities, all equals, all at the top, I think that is really the way to cement the legacy.
All right,
See,
let's
but you
take.
can
Go
though.
ahead. Go
You
ahead.
can. I'm sorry. I just want to end on this because I think we're all Big Jim guys, and you can make Big Jim feel as important as his cousin and his brother because again, the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw is wide open. It's anybody's game at this point. You just got to get him red hot at the right moment, which could be right now. And you can have the Vision going against this version of the Bloodline, if we want to call it the Bloodline, and it's Big Jim's time. Because the playing field between Jay and Roman from this level, Roman looks at him as an equal now because he did it on his own. He main evented a WrestleMania. He became a world champion. He defended the world championship on the grandest stage of them all. Main evented the Jays. So now it's time to let little cousin shine. So that's the way to do it because who's the dominant person? Who can you see taking the World Heavyweight Championship off Seth Rollins? It could be anybody on Raw.
Right. Or nobody. Let's take our last break. A lot of good stuff in the mailbag here. It is Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. I'm live from Perth, Australia. Cheap Heat Live. Happy weekend, y'all.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Bubble Yum Bubblegum. Available in a blasting new 3-flavor pack with wild cherry, grape, and regular. Bubble Yum keeps it popping.
Funny. So I had a message here from Brian with the move to ESPN. What happens to all the old content on Peacock? We already lost a bunch of old Raws in the move to Netflix. Listen, that gets right back to what we were talking about earlier. There's something has to give with this network, guys. Or listen, we've said this many times. They've found a way to monetize everything. Even if they make you spend money on the network, if they said, "Hey, we have you on ESPN, we have you on Netflix, we have you on USA, but if you want our entire back catalog, it's the network is back for $9.99 a month. You'd get me again for that." There are a lot of people who would still say, "I still need that 10 a month." And I really miss the network because of how easy it was to get to stuff. It was just like Peacock never got the search function down. Never. And I would freak out about it and throw a fit, except iMessage can't figure out how to have you search through text messages effectively. So there's certain things that the internet just can't get right. All right, another question here. Well, how about this? BCC represent. That's my high school. Fellow BCC Baron, class of 2000. Who's been a big fan of yours from Cheap Heat day one with the maker of shoes during the Grantland days and beyond. Getting ready to celebrate our 25-year reunion in Old Chevy Chase. What were your favorite high school memories? And 2, any recommendations as far as reconnecting with old classmates and not having to be too awkward? # with a life. Listen, my last reunion was 20. I did a 20-year reunion in like 17, which is so interesting because I guess my 25 would have come during COVID. And then the scary thing is, guys, that means my 30s not far off.
No.
That means my 30s in 27. Guys, 30-year high school reunion is so old. I'm not ready, guys. I've lived in this like fake version of life because of my career, the kind of career that I have, and getting divorced and remarried and having a young baby. I've like done this whole pretend thing where I'm not as old as I actually am. But then you see things like 30-year high school reunion and you're like, "Oh no, you're old as a motherfucker." That's 30-year high school reunion is, I mean, when you picture it, that is, I feel like I remember when my parents were going to their 30-year high school reunion. That's crazy. Anyways, no, I have no recommendations on the awkwardness of running into people from high school. To each his own. God, favorite high school memories. I was a big high school guy. I loved high school. High school was glorious for me. I was in my bag. I was confident. By the middle of my freshman year, I had found my girlfriend, and then she was long distance, and we would visit with each other in the summer and winter, and I was the DJ who had the hot girlfriend. I was in my bag. High school was good.
Did you show your friends from high school her pictures like, yo, she's from Canada and she's real?
No, she went to our high school. She went to our. Everyone knew her. Everyone went. Yo, she went to our high school. Everyone knew her. Every senior hated on me. I was 14 years old, looked like a child, and was dating a grown ass woman.
How grown are we talking here? Like, how old are we talking?
She was 30. No, she was 16. But what I'm saying.
Oh,
is,
I thought the way you made it sound like she was like a senior.
SGG, did you understand what I was saying? Did you think I also meant I was like hot for teacher?
No.
No, I just thought you. I thought you maybe pulled an 18-year-old.
No,
like, you know what I'm saying?
What I meant was I was a 14-year-old. My girlfriend was Brazilian. When she moved to the country, she stayed back. So she was like 16 when I was 14 and a half. But what I really meant was I looked like a little boy and she looked like a grown-ass woman. But I was a kid. Like, you look back in retrospect.
Pictures of her?
Yo, she was 16, my guy.
I want to see her now. Like, I want to see what she looks like now.
Sure. Clean it up quick. Clean up on aisle 6.
Is this the one? Is this the one that you were talking about on Juanette? With there's pictures that you say that you'll never see the light of day because they're at her mother's house in Brazil.
Yes. She has the picture.
Yeah, I got to see what I want to see what this girl looks like.
I want to see what moms look like.
I want to see what the mother looks like. Yeah, the mother. Yeah, let's go.
No, it was so. To answer your question, I loved BCC. I had a great time at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. Bethesda's a totally different place now, and it's weird to go back there because it doesn't exactly feel like the place that I grew up. It's like just so developed and different. But I love BCC. Played baseball. I had a great time. I had one year when I was really in my bag. My senior year, I convinced them they wanted me to DJ a dance. And I wanted to go to the dance because I was like trying to live in my like glory of senior year. I allowed them, they paid me to make a mix for the dance. I got them to pay me to make a cassette and rock that at the dance and got to dance to my own DJing at the dance. By the way, the DJing was horrifying, but it happened. All right, let's see here. What's up with AJ and Punk not appearing on TV since Palooza? Of course, that changed for Punk the other day. I get Punk is advertised for next week, but seems like the delay has squandered their momentum following the big return and win against Becky and Seth. It's a really interesting question. It does make me think, guys, that maybe the AJ Lee return is a little more limited than we assumed that it was. Like, maybe she's not really going to be the week-to-week superstar that it seemed like we thought when we saw her signing the contract and standing there with Triple H. Maybe this is a more special event kind of thing because she's been off TV. And then, guys, Punk came back, and SUG, he was just right into his same storyline with Jey Uso and LA Knight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't get a bus where they can travel around together. Give them the bus if that's what they need so we can see more AJ. I don't know.
I don't think it's that. I think I wonder if it's like just from a like sort of protecting her mentals. Like, I want to do this when I want to do it, but I'm not going to be around all the time. I want to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Peter. I think they're giving her like specific spot dates that she can come in, and it'll probably rev back up for Rumble season, and then going into WrestleMania, she'll probably be a fixture. So I think we're going to see it like that. I think she has spot dates. I don't think she's going to do the grind anymore. She's been there, done it, did it. So honestly, I would like to see a one-on-one between her and Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
I think Survivor Series, we get that. That's my guess. Sean writes us and says, "Hey, Sweet Pete, SUG, and Dip, what do you guys think of Brock being seen as final opponent at Saturday Night's main event? I thought this might be where we're headed after Brock's beatdown at WrestlePalooza. It makes sense from the standpoint of Brock being the one guy Cena hasn't been able to conquer. This would be his last chance to slay the beast and put a definitive period on his career. I know it doesn't give, quote, the rub to another superstar, but it also wouldn't hurt Brock at all to give Cena the win in a big-time match. Thoughts?" This has crossed my mind. Obviously, from the second Cena lost the way he lost, I thought there's a chance that the whole thing ends with Brock Lesnar redemption. I don't know that I find it to be thrilling
Yeah, I don't like it.
But
The idea of Brock being Cena's final opponent.
it just seems like a lot of Brock, and it's part of why I didn't really like how Cena lost to Brock last time, because I don't think they are going to finish that story. And maybe that's okay. I mean, maybe what you have to look at it as is John Cena is certified, he's cemented, and Brock's going to be around a while. So having the fact that Brock just dominated John Cena being part of his lore was all that was. But like, I could see it happening. I don't love it. Let's see. Which of the 3 women in Judgment Day should turn face when Liv returns, and why should it be Roxanne? Stay mage. That's from Jason.
It absolutely should be Roxanne.
Yeah.
I feel like
Agreed.
she has the most lovable aura out of the 3 of them. And so, yeah, it should be her.
I gotta tell you,
Raquel,
though, she's
as lovely as
she's
she
a damn
is,
good. She's a damn good heel, though, Roxanne.
yeah. That's why she's the prodigy. She can play on both sides of the ball.
She's really good. She's actually very Liv-like in that way. Like, just really
I think
good
a
at
Liv
both.
Morgan face run would be really good too. I think it's time, man.
Is it
Like, you
time?
wanna,
It wasn't that no, you're forgetting, dude. You are forgetting that Liv was losing it before she turned. We were SGG, we were waiting. We were all like, she can no longer be the spry little underdog anymore. It got old.
Yeah, it
But
did.
could she do something different? Could she be an elder statesman now? Like how Rhea is? Remember, because when Rhea was mommy, she was bad and boo, and now she's like this revered like baby face, and everybody loves her. It's like, can't we have a grown up version where she's not this scrappy underdog anymore?
Maybe
Because she's
maybe you
climbed
can.
that mountain, she's done the thing.
Right, maybe you can, but then the problem is to me the issue with babyface Liv. And by the way, when she comes back, she's going to be so over. It's probably going to be hard for them to keep her a heel.
Yeah. Because she's going to have to get her comeuppance on Dom, and that's...
And by the way,
why would she have to get her comeuppance on Dom for? Because
they haven't shown
like,
us anything. By the way, that's my point.
Yeah.
This is again one of those stories where it's like, did you guys finish the planning for the story with Dom and Roxanne? Because we haven't seen them actually do anything. All right, guys, I just realized we're out of time. We got to go. We have Crown Jewel tomorrow, for God's sake. Set your alarms. The countdown show starts at 6 a.m. Eastern. The show starts at 8. It's on ESPN in the U.S., Netflix overseas. Emilio, great seeing you. We appreciate yous.
Pleasure. Love you guys.
And actually hearing you. SGG, stay mage. Find us on Patreon, Cheap Heat Live on Patreon. Shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Dip. Hopefully I make it back from Perth. Stay mage and enjoy yourselves, everyone.
Enjoy yourself.
Follow us on Instagram too.
That's right. Cheap Heat Pod.